Hello, everyone. We welcome you to the undergraduate webinar series, an interactive online platform connecting high school students to the Ashoka community. In this series, we cover topics related to Ashoka's undergraduate program, where our academic counselors, students, and faculty guide you in understanding the various aspects of the university. Thank you all for joining us today for the webinar, Q&A with the admissions. I am Shaurya Chima, and I work with the Office of Outreach at Ashoka University. Joining me today are Benrilo Kikon, Assistant Director, Office of Admissions, and Mannat Kalkat, Deputy Manager, Office of Admissions at Ashoka University. Together, we will be addressing some of your queries on the Ashoka undergraduate admissions process. Before we begin, I would request our audience to kindly type any questions that they might have in the Q&A box provided on your Zoom screen, and we will address them as the session progresses. All right, so without further ado, let's get started. I'm going to just start off the first question. What does Ashoka look for in students?
All right. Thank you for that, Shaurya. I think I can take that question. Hello, everyone. First of all, I hope you are all happy with the results of your 12th grades. And now, you have time to apply and look forward to university life. So taking this question, we don't have any specific qualities that we're really looking for in students. I think one thing that Ashoka really does look forward to is a well-rounded student, in the sense that one that is not just interested in academics, but also has interest in non-academic activities as well. And this doesn't really have to be anything that you're professionally engaged with, or you've been very competitive in for a very long period of time, but it can be something as simple as reading, cooking, baking, any activity that you enjoy. So, interest in activities outside of academics is something we look at. We also look at students who have a genuine interest in coming to the university. Someone who is really interested in the liberal arts and is interested in applying to Ashoka. So I think, these are some of the qualities apart from others that we look at, but also no specific quality, which is why we have a very holistic admissions process where we kind of look at multiple parameters when it comes to an individual's application. We look at their essays, we look at the scores they've gotten, we look at how the performance on the assessment, as well as various other qualities. So please don't get really worried or hassled about what it is that we specifically look for in students. Just give it your best, apply, and then we'll take it forward from there.
All right, fair. All right, the second question that we have so far is what are the factors affecting our admission?
All right. I can take this one too. Benrilo, you can kind of chip in if you feel I'm lacking in any, specific area. Again, we don't really look for any specific factors, so to say. We really appreciate students who are curious, who are just, excited about university life, excited about, the subjects that Ashoka will provide you an opportunity to engage with, as well as, students who have just taken initiative to really explore their interests, academic as well as non-academic. So like I said in the beginning, we have a holistic admission process. It's not like you have to, there are certain parameters that we really strongly look at, and if you strike out at one, then we just won't consider students. We do look at qualities apart from just your scores, your academic scores. There are various other things we look at. So just go ahead and apply.
Right, and also to add to what Mannat has said, we look for students who are genuine, authentic, and can portray themselves authentically in the application form. So it is very easy for us to spot students who have, plagiarized content or have not been sincere while filling up the application form. So we do request all students to be as genuine and authentic as possible.
Yes, we do realize when students have used ChatGPT. So, just a disclaimer out there.
Yeah, I was about to add as well that as long as you're original and it's your ideas and your best reflection of who you are, I think that makes for a good application as well. All right. Moving on to the next question. Again, something which is very closely related to is the first two questions. Is there something we can do to make our application stand out? Obviously, we have emphasized that, don't make it stand out as much as using ChatGPT and all, but what are the things that students can do if there are any tips, Manmat and Ben?
Yeah, so like Ben mentioned in the beginning, right? Please be genuine and be your authentic selves. Because we really do like to see students putting out who they are onto their application, and we can really gauge, when people have put an effort, when people have not put an effort. So really take some time to, work with the application, look at the prompts. They're very engaging, they're very fun to kind of work with, they're not really taxing or academically inclined. So, just have fun with them. Work with them. You can even kind of discuss ideas with your friends, with your family members, and put some effort into the application. We do have applications where students have written only 2-3 lines in the essays. I must tell you that such applications will not be moved forward, and because we do like to see some effort put in by the students. So, do be your authentic selves, do take some time to fill the application form out, and really kind of think about what activities you enjoy, because there is an activity section. There is a section that talks about, books that have had a major impact on your lives. So do take some time to think about it, and do, pin them down in the application, and also just go through it once again before you click on submit. Yeah.
All right, cool. Next question that we have, does being in the last round of admissions reduce my chances of an admission?
Absolutely not. Like Manat said earlier, we holistically evaluate all applications that come in, and we do realize that the application form is quite thorough. It requires you to be quite thorough. So some students might take some time to fill up the application form. So, and you submitting your application form in the final round does not mean that your chances are low. We will evaluate your application form and everything else like we do for the other rounds. So please do not worry about that. Please apply in your final round as well, because we will be looking at everyone equally across all rounds.
Fair. All right. Next question that we have is, are the CUET scores mandatory in the Ashoka application?
I can take that question. So, we do know a lot of students are also going to be appearing for the CUET exams. The short answer is no, the CUET scores are not mandatory for your Ashoka applications. So it's no, there's no such thing like, you have to take the CUET before you fill in your application, or if you don't take the CUET, we won't be considering your application. The CUET score is not mandatory for your Ashoka application. It's just something we like to put out there in case students do want to disclose, how they've done on that particular exam. But it by no means indicates that, it's an integral part or it's compulsory for you to disclose.
All right. The next question that we have is, how much financial aid does Ashoka provide?
Right. So, I think it is common knowledge that Ashoka provides a generous amount of financial aid to our students. It could vary from a waiver on your tuition fee for 10% to up to 100% waiver on your tuitions, residence, and meals. So it is quite generous. We would encourage all students who think that you might need financial aid to apply for financial aid, because we specifically look at the need of the student, and it is not merit-based at all. It is all need-based. So please do apply for financial aid, because we holistically look at the students' circumstances in order for them to receive financial aid. Also, once you get an offer of admission, the financial aid form will be opened for you. It's open for just a few days. So if you intend on applying for financial aid, I would encourage you to look at the website, check out the various documents that the form would require, because it is quite comprehensive and it would require a lot of effort from your end. So please do keep all those things prepared as well.
All right. Just to follow up to that as well, Ben, is there anything an applicant should indicate in their application if they want financial aid?
No, you need not indicate anything in the application form because your financial need does not impact your application process, right? You will be able to apply for financial aid only once you receive an offer of admission from us. So we do not look at your financial standing while assessing your application form. So there is no need to indicate anything as such.
All right. Moving on, how much do grades matter since my 12th scores aren't very good?
See, I'm not going to lie and say they don't matter at all. Of course they matter, but they're not going to be the deciding factor as to whether you're going to get admission to Ashoka University or not. It's just one part of the whole comprehensive process that we follow, the holistic admission process that we follow. And we do have students who haven't been able to perform as well as they envisioned they would. It could be due to variety of factors. A lot of them have fallen sick. Some have suffered from other issues, and we are very cognizant of the fact that there are a variety of other factors that affect students' grades. So please don't be discouraged to apply because you think that you haven't achieved your potential. Do kind of shoot your shot, so to say, apply. And because we do interview students, we interview candidates, and during our conversations we do assess a lot of things just apart from your academic scores. So don't feel discouraged. Please go ahead and apply. It's not going to be the be all end all of your admission process.
All right, cool. So I'll just take the next couple of questions. Is there any application fee for the undergraduate program? No, there is no application fee that is associated with applying to Ashoka. Also, is there any preparation required for the AAA? Is it mandatory to sit for the Ashoka assessment? Is it conducted online? Yes. So the Ashoka aptitude assessment is based on something called the Cambridge Thinking Skills Assessment, CTSAs. There is a sample paper available on the Ashoka website where you can have a look at them. It's mandatory to sit for the assessment. Absolutely, it is mandatory. If you do not sit for the assessment, your application basically is not complete. All right, so do sit for the assessment regardless of the scores provided. Otherwise, you have to sit for the assessment, and it is conducted online as well. So you can do that from the space of your home itself. But do make sure that you have a good stable internet connection, and it's monitored as well. So yeah. The next question that we have is, does Ashoka offer sciences courses? Are there any scholarships?
Yes, Ashoka definitely offers science courses. I think you can find a comprehensive list of all the science courses offered by Ashoka on the website. And speaking of scholarships, we do, in addition to need-based aid, we do have a merit cum means-based scholarship, especially for the science students. So that students are encouraged to apply for the sciences. So do make use of the merit cum means scholarship if you are a science student who is going to be applying for science courses.
All right, perfect. What is the last date to apply for the UG program? Is this the final round?
So I can take that. The last day, I think the last day for the application is for round 4 is going to be the 29th of May. And yes, this is going to be the last round for this cycle. Obviously, applications are going to open for the next cycle in November later this year, but this is the last round for the 2023 admission cycle. So do make sure you complete your application by the 23rd of May. You still have like a few days left, enough time to kind of really go through the application and spend a good amount of time working through it, because it's not that difficult. The prompts aren't that tough. They're very engaging. So do take your time, take time out, sit with it this weekend, work on it, and submit your applications.
All right. The next question that we have is, submitting in the last round means that most seats are already filled. So how hard does it get to be admitted?
Okay, I'll take this. Like I said earlier, we evaluate all applications in a holistic manner, and there's no it doesn't mean that you will be put through a more difficult or a more rigorous process in the admissions cycle. So while we do have filled up the seats, we when we plan for the cycle, when we plan for the round, we keep in mind the round 4 applicants as well. So there is no need for you to worry as to whether all the seats are filled or not, because we know that round 4 applicants will come in as well, and we want to evaluate everyone in equal lenses as well. So yeah, just because you're applying for round 4 doesn't mean that seats are filled and that you would not get an equal opportunity.
All right, perfect. We have the next question with us, which is, all right, this question has already been answered. Will the interview and entrance be conducted online, as it will be difficult for me to do that in person as I'm abroad? Ben, if you can just shed some light on this as well.
Yeah, so the interview and the AAA will all be conducted online. The Ashoka aptitude assessment will be done on your laptop. It cannot be done on a mobile device. So you will have to ensure that you have a laptop where you can sit in a quiet room and take the test. Like Shaurya said earlier, it will be a proctored test. So we ensure that there's no one around you and that you can take the test in a quiet room alone without any help. Also, all interviews are conducted online. So as long as you have a good and stable internet connection, you should be fine.
Perfect. All right. Moving on, how much does not having a letter of recommendation affect my application?
We do like students to have a letter of recommendation. I don't think you can submit the application without submitting a letter of recommendation. Just talk to a teacher or anyone who you've worked with over the years, or any professor, teacher who knows you, and ask them to, it doesn't have to be a very elaborate letter, just a letter that talks about how you perform in class, what your character is like, and how you've just been as a student in school. So do take the time out, figure out a professor that, whose class you've enjoyed, who you think you have a good rapport with, have a very frank conversation with them about the application process, why you'd like to come to Ashoka, and what you're hoping to get from your education, and ask them to write a brief recommendation letter from your end. We also do understand that when it comes to certain context applications, students do find it a bit difficult to find good recommenders to kind of write their letters. In such cases, often students, it doesn't always have to be an academic letter of recommendation. A few students have also done internships and have worked, with in various areas, and have asked, people they've worked with to write recommendations for them, like the supervisors or, any other person who they've worked under to write recommendation for them. So that's also something we really like to go through. So yeah, I mean, we usually like looking at what a recommender has said about a student, because it gives us another idea as to who you are as a person, because we don't really know that. So yeah, do try your best to talk to people around you, people who know you, to provide a recommendation from you. But having said that, please don't ask your friends to write one for you.
Right. Yeah. So I'll just add on to that as well. I always tell this to students that while LOR is not mandatory, it's highly recommended, and it kind of validates your application as well, because the application coming to us is directly from you. When we have someone, you have worked with closely or studied under, and they kind of, validate the application, it makes a difference in the application. But again, find who you can get yourself to recommend, as Mannat has already suggested. All right, moving on. The recommender whose details I submitted has not received the mail to submit my LOR. What can I do?
Right. So if your recommender has not received the email, please make sure you write to us at admissions@ashoka.edu.in with your recommender's details. We will see what we can do. Also, just a note of caution. just ensure that you put in the right recommender details, email address, and everything, because once you have submitted your application form, it is not possible for you to edit it. So just ensure that you put in the right recommenders details.
Thanks. And I'll add on to that, saying that what happens a lot of times that sometimes students do provide a teacher's school email address, and usually they are not able to receive emails on that address. We have seen that because they are sometimes blocked from receiving such emails from other institutions. So try and provide their personal email addresses so that they have an access to that email address at all times, and usually that solves a lot of issues as well. All right. Moving on, what if my family can't afford it even after I receive a certain amount of financial aid? Can I appeal for more?
Right. So while the financial aid office tries to ensure that you are looked at, your documents are looked at thoroughly, there are some instances where students are not really satisfied or are not really happy with the amount of financial aid that they get. So yes, you can appeal for more. Although we cannot guarantee that the financial aid office will grant you more, there is always provision for students to write to the financial aid office asking for a re-evaluation of their financial aid form. The financial aid committee will take their time and sort of go through your papers and your documents again to ensure that you have been judged fairly. So again, before you submit your financial aid form, just ensure that all documents are presented correctly so that we avoid such chances of your form not being evaluated fairly.
All right, perfect. I'll just take the next couple of questions and I'll throw some more questions at you. All right, how should I prepare for the AAA and the on-the-spot essay? You can find some sample papers on the Ashoka website regarding the Ashoka aptitude assessment. And similarly, there are a couple of prompts as well available for the on-the-spot essays available at the Ashoka website. You can just very easily Google them and you get their links as well. How long is the AAA and how many questions? The Ashoka aptitude assessment is for 90 minutes. Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
Right. So it's for 90 minutes. And also, next question that we have is, can I take the aptitude test anytime? I believe that students have the freedom to log in from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And give the assessment, but do make sure that you log in well before 4:30. Don't keep waiting till the end of the time. This is just for your benefit as well. You have a big window to sit down and do the assessment and the on-the-spot essay. Just take out those 2 hours from your time for the on-the-spot essay and the assessment. So make sure you have enough, room to spare as well. Don't keep waiting till the last minute. But yeah, you can log in from any time between 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And give the assessment from your house itself. All right, I'll just throw a few more questions to you, Benrilo and Mannath. How can I convey my willingness to the university through an application? This seems like a tricky question, but I guess we'll try and answer our very best.
Yeah, I think I can take this one. I think by just filling it out and submitting it, first of all, I think that's something you can do, and as we've said, being genuine in your application process. I think a lot of the willingness of coming to Ashoka comes out during the interviews. So, that's something to keep in mind if and when you're shortlisted for the interview process. Do make sure that you do your research on the university and, understand whether Ashoka is the right fit for you or not. Because there are 2 parts to it. One is that you are the right fit for Ashoka, and Ashoka also should be a right fit for you. So, it goes both ways. So, while you're filling out your application, the first thing you can do is submit it and take the, AAA assessment, as because Shaurya said, without it, we do consider your application null and void. And after that, it's, up to other various parameters, including the interview, where you do get a chance to, indicate your willingness and your enthusiasm for coming to Ashoka.
All right, perfect. All right, the next question that we have is, I have done my 12th grade in 2021. Can I still apply to Ashoka with a gap of almost 2 years? And will that affect my application?
So I can take that one too. We do have a lot of students who have taken gap years and who have finished, their kind of 12th in 2021 and 2022 also. So, having said that, please don't be discouraged from applying. It really does not affect your admission chances. We don't really have a bias, when we look at applicants who have graduated 2 or 3 years ago. Because like I said, there is a holistic admission process and we do look at, everything that you bring to the table. But there is also a space, I think, after you mentioned that you've done your gap year, there's a space to kind of elaborate on what you've done during that year. So do talk about it, do mention, what all you've been up to during the past 2 years, because, it gives us a chance to also get some insight into what you've been up to, and it gives us something to talk about during the interviews if you do come for, if you are shortlisted for it, that is. So yes, please don't be discouraged to apply. Do take your time out, fill the application, talk about what you've done during your gap year, and we'll take it forward from there.
All right, perfect. The next question that we have is which part of the admission process carries the most weight?
Right. So everything carries equal amount of weight. Everything is important. There's nothing that's not important because a lot of thought has gone into the whole admissions process and to indicate what we are looking for in our students. So like we all said earlier, it's not just the academics that we are looking for. If it was just the academics, we wouldn't have asked for such a comprehensive application form and the interview process and the AA and everything. So all these factors really matter. So do not take any of these factors lightly, because your application form is equally important as your AAA and as your interview. So we are looking for students who excel not only in academics, but also have, taken the effort, also have the drive to do something beyond their academics and to engage in activities that they're passionate about. So everything carries equal weight.
All right, perfect. The next question that we have is, can I change the selection of subjects applied for later? Example, this particular applicant has put history as their first major choice. Do they have an option to change the same?
Manath, you can.
I can take this one. So, a lot of students do get the query about whether the subject preference that they input into the application are binding or not. This is to say that they are not binding. If you do mention your preferences, it does not mean that you will have to go forth with those particular preferences in your university. If you do get in, that is, students always have the provision to change their majors, which is why we are primarily a liberal arts institution, right? We don't want students, we don't encourage the fact that you come in with a set mindset of wanting to pursue economics, and then all 3 years you're doing economics itself, which is why in the first year we have things called the foundation courses, where students do explore a wide variety of subjects, and then they have the opportunity to declare their major at the end of the 3rd semester. So no, there is no, it's not binding. You can change your course preferences during the course of your undergrad study. The reason we ask students to mention their course preferences is so that we can, talk about something during the interview, so that we have an insight into the subjects that you're interested in during the course of the interview, because it just gives us a chance to go back and forth with the students and get to know a bit more about them. So yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, I'm just going to take the next couple of questions. So we have a question over here. Should we submit LOR from the school principal, or will Ashoka contact the school principal? So I'm guessing that you have put your recommender as the school principal. So I'll briefly just explain the process to you. Basically, in your application, in the LOR section, we ask for a few details of the recommender. For example, we'd ask for their name, their email address, their phone number. How is it that you know the recommender, and how long have you known the recommender for? Please fill in these details correctly. And once you click the save and send option that is below the LOR section, then an email goes out, an automated email goes out to your recommender on the email that you have provided to them, to us, sorry. So once they receive that email, they can just open up the email. They'll have all the instructions regarding the LOR, how to write, the word limits, and a link to open up the portal through which they will directly send us the letter of recommendation. So you don't have to upload the letter of recommendation at all. You don't have to get it from the school. It comes to us directly through the details that you have provided in the application itself. So I hope that explains the process of submitting the LOR. And also we have another question. Can I ask my internship mentor to give my LOR? Absolutely. We suggest that, either in the space of academics or professionally, anyone can give the LOR as long as they have worked with you, especially in these two spaces. We do recommend that, have a relation with the LOR, with the recommender for at least 6 months to 12 months. And that establishes credibility as well. So it's better if you give the LOR to us from someone you have worked with for at least this duration, automatically the credibility goes up as well. But if you have an internship mentor who you have been working with, there is no harm in providing us a recommendation through them. I'll take the next question as well, and then I'll throw a few questions at you, Manath, and then how much time do we have for on-the-spot essay? Will it be online? Yes, it'll be online on the same day, same time as your Ashoka assessment. The on-the-spot essay is for 30 minutes, which is then followed by your Ashoka aptitude assessment. So you can do that online. It's on the same day as your assessments itself, not on a separate day. All right, so moving on, I'll throw a few questions at you now. What does the government approved domicile ID mean?
Right. So that is for Haryana resident students. If you are a domicile of Haryana and if you have a certificate, you need to update your Haryana domicile certificate in the application form. This is because of the Haryana Universities, Private Universities Act. So it just indicates that you're a student, you're a domicile of Haryana. I think in the application form, we have a sample of what the Haryana domicile certificate looks like. If you do not have the Haryana domicile form, a certificate with you while you are applying, you can indicate that you're a domicile of Haryana and just upload a document stating that you have applied for the domicile certificate and are waiting for it. Or if you have the receipt with you, you will get a receipt when you apply for the Haryana domicile certificate. So if you have the receipt with you, please upload your receipt. Also, this is very useful when it comes to your financial aid application. So they will be asking you for your Haryana domicile certificate as well. So yeah.
Great. All right. The next question that we have is, I submitted my application last year too, but could not appear for the assessment test. So should I still mention that I have applied to Ashoka before?
Yes, please do. Please mention that you have applied to Ashoka before. And yeah, if you get to the interview stage and if the interviewer asks you about it, you could mention that you could not do the assessment. But if you have applied to Ashoka before, please mention that in your application form.
Sweet, perfect. For round 4, once the application plus the assessments are completed, by when do we get the results? On 15 July, or it may be any day before the 15th of July?
On the 15th of July. The date given on the website is the 15th July, so that's what we try to adhere by. And it does take a lot of time for us to really evaluate the large, cohort that we get. So yeah, please expect a decision by the.
Perfect. All right. When will the Ashoka assessments be held?
So I can take that. The AAA, like Shaurya said, which is going to be online. So even international students can figure out a time zone where they're going to feel comfortable taking the test. It's going to be held on the 11th of June. So do make sure that you figure out a space that you can sit in and take the test and make sure that you're kind of well prepared and equipped for the test that day, even though it requires no preparation, but just like mentally prepared.
Perfect. All right. This question that we have says that I submitted my application in the first week of May itself. However, I haven't received any email whatsoever regarding any further steps to be taken, or any relevant update about the admissions process? How could I get to know whether I am eligible to appear for the Ashoka Aptitude Assessment?
I can take this. So once you've submitted your application, we start evaluating candidates only after you appear for the AAA. So there's no eligibility criteria for you in order for you to sit, for the AAA. Please do sit for it on the 11th of June, because only if you sit for it are we going to kind of look at your application. We are not going to be looking at it before you sit for it. So yeah, that's, once you sit for it, and then if you've submitted your application, that's when you might receive some intimation from us whether you've been shortlisted for an interview round or not.
All right, perfect. The next question that we have is, just give me 1 second, let me have a look. All right, so when will results of round 3 applications be announced?
So round 3 applications, the results will be announced on the 16th of July. 16th of June. So the admissions process is still ongoing. If you have received your interview invites and everything, you will get to hear about your results by the 16th of June.
All right, perfect. And also, there's this question that asks where to log in for the Ashoka Aptitude Assessment.
Right. So once you submit your application form, you will receive an email from us from admissions@ashoka.edu.in, which will give you all the details of the assessment date, the timing, and the link to it before the day of the assessment. And a few days before, you will get a demo link where you can just log in and see if your computer is, if your browser is compatible with the link and everything. So just ensure that you have the admissions email ID marked as important, because a lot of times, a lot of the emails go to the spam folder and students tend to miss out on this important emails. So just ensure that you have our admissions@ashoka.edu.in email ID saved as important.
All right, perfect. If I don't have any extracurricular activities to write, what should I do? How much does it affect my application?
Mannat, do you want to?
Yeah, I can take this one. So, we do get this query a lot from students, because I think what students are often worried about is not having formal extracurriculars, so to say, not having participated in MUNs, in debate competitions, not having held leadership positions, which is perfectly fine, to be honest. What we ask is, anything that you're interested in outside of academics, right? We've had students who really enjoy running, who really enjoy music, even though they haven't really been performing in performing in a band or so, but they just enjoy it as a leisure activity. Students who enjoy cooking, baking. So, any activity that you really enjoy, that you have engaged with, do put it down over there, whether it's art, whether it's music, there must be something that you enjoy. So do take the time out to put that over there. It doesn't really have to be something that you engaged with during school. It doesn't have to be extremely competitive and, formal, so to say, but just something that you have that's outside of your academic interest, which is what we like to see, and which gives us a talking point during the interview. So yeah, do think about it. I'm sure there'll be a few extracurriculars that you can come up with, a few interests you can come up with, and we just put them on there.
All right, perfect. This is sort of a repeat question, but I think it's better if we address this. I joined another university 2 years ago. However, I want to apply to Ashoka now. Should I explain it as a gap year or provide details elsewhere?
So, while you're going to be filling out the application, after you fill in the year you graduated, you're automatically going to get options which are going to ask you whether you are already enrolled in an institution or if you've taken a gap year. So, you can mention the fact that you're enrolled in another institution, and you can mention which institution it is. You can also specify what course you have been kind of pursuing in that institution and what you have done in the meantime. If you do get to the interview stage, we do kind of discuss, what your time at a particular institution has been like and what is motivating you to come to Ashoka right now. So do make sure that you fill that particular part in and don't get too hassled or worried about whether it would affect your, admission outcomes. It won't. We just like to see what students have been up to, or what they have been doing in the interim, whether it's taking a gap year or having been enrolled at another institution.
All right, perfect. Apart from the educational sectors, what other non-scholastic areas are present in the university?
Right. So apart from academics at Ashoka, there are a lot of clubs and societies. So a lot of students are involved in the different clubs and societies, and there are plenty of clubs and societies. If you have any interest, you could even start your own club if there's not a club of your interest on campus. So it ranges from dance, music to astronomy to any interest that you may have. There's sports. A lot of our students are actively involved in sports. There's inter-college tournaments and competitions that take place where our students are actively engaged. So yeah, apart from academics, these are some of the activities that students could involve themselves in.
All right, perfect. Okay, I don't think we have too many more questions. So the next few questions are, can I attach a CV?
If you think that the information that you have provided in the application form is not comprehensive enough and that you need a separate section for you to sort of portray yourself even further, you can do that. There's a section in the support section where you can upload or attach your documents. So if you feel the need to tell us more about yourself and your accomplishments, you can always use that space to attach your CV.
All right, perfect. What are the facilities of Ashoka University for international students?
Manat, do you want to go?
Yeah, I think I can maybe, from the top of my head, whatever comes to mind, I can talk about it. If I do miss out on things, Ben can chip in, Ben or Shaurya can chip in. From what our understanding is, there's definitely a few clubs, a society for international students, which kind of supports international students coming to Ashoka, because, it is quite a different experience for them as opposed to national students. So, these students will help with like, just like, the mental process of preparing to come to university, the support that students often need. We'll talk to you about how the university is and are always there to reach out to in case you're facing any troubles. Along with that, there's also a lot of support given to our international student community on campus. So, we have all the offices that are very open to kind of, helping you out or helping international students out. And the admission team also facilitates, the visa application process that the international students start with. So, don't be too hassled about not really having a supportive community on campus. It's very inclusive, very diverse. We have a lot of international students on campus, and there's always, a supportive community that is there to help students out in case they, need such help.
All right, perfect. Yeah. So you have all the support that you need here, for international students as well. We are here for you. So whatever you need at the university, any sort of, problems you face, we are there for you. We have a very nice center called the Ashoka Center of Wellbeing as well. So any sort of support that you may need, you shouldn't be hesitant to ask at all, and you will get that support over here as well. All right, I'll just take the next couple of questions, I would request the audience, if you have any more questions, please type them in, we'll be more than happy to take them. So I'll just take on the next few questions that we still have. Okay. What time will the Ashoka assessment be on the 11th of June? Because I have also applied for IPU, which is also on the same date. So what time will be for the AAA? So basically, like, we have already mentioned, anytime between 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., you can, log in to the portal. and appear for the assessment and the on-the-spot essay. The on-the-spot essay is for 30 minutes, followed by a 90-minute assessment. So just make sure you have that 2-hour window, and you can adjust it according to your IPU exam as well. So you have plenty of time on that particular day. So you can log in anytime between 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and appear for the assessment. Can we ask teachers who taught us before 12th grade for LORs? Yes. There is no problem at all. Those teachers might know you a lot better than your 12th graders. You might have a longer relationship with them as well, where they have seen you grow up. So that always is really, really good. So please feel free to do that as long as, it's in the academic and the professional space. There is no harm in getting your teachers who taught you before the 12th grade to give your LOR. Let me see if we have any more questions. In the meantime, I would again request our audience, if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. Okay, we have a question over here, which I'll throw to you guys. I've given my interview for the 3rd round already, but results are yet to be announced. Should I apply for the 4th round too as a backup?
I can take this one. No, you can't apply as a backup for the 4th round. Students are only allowed to apply once in a cycle. So you can choose any round you'd like to apply in, but you're not allowed to kind of repeat applications across multiple rounds. So, if for whatever reason you've applied and you don't get in, you can't apply in the 4th round. What you can do is apply next cycle. So, only once per cycle. So yeah, the short answer is.
All right, perfect. We have another question, I believe. When will I receive an offer of letter if I'm selected in the 4th round?
11th June is the date for the AAA. After that, we have a lot of interviews that take place. So a lot of assessing of applicants. You can expect a decision to come out by the 15th of July or on the 15th of July. So that's when around 4 applicants should expect their decisions.
All right, perfect. All right, let me just stroll through, see if we have any more questions. I think we have done a fairly good job in answering all the questions so far. Let me just see if there are any more questions. Again, request the audience, if you have any more questions, please feel free to add them over here. All right, I think we are done. So yeah, thank you for joining us for today's webinar, everyone. I hope you were able to find answers to your last-minute queries. We would really appreciate it if you could please take a minute to share your valuable feedback with us. The link to the feedback form is provided in the chat box. Please note that the recording of this session will also be available on Ashoka's YouTube channel in case you would like to share it with your friends. Before we end the session, I would once again like to inform our audience that the deadline for the final round of undergraduate program starting August 2023 is the 29th of May 2023. So I would really encourage all students to submit their application as soon as possible. Additionally, students and parents can also visit the Ashoka University campus for a tour. The link to register for the campus tour is provided in the chat box. If you have any further queries regarding various other aspects of the university, feel free to write to us at ugapply@ashoka.edu.in or call on the number that is shown on your screen. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for taking out the time to participate in this discussion. Thank you, Manath and Bendralo, as well for answering all the queries. I'm sure everyone really appreciates that. And this brings us to the end of our session today. So please take care and all the best, and do apply by the 29th of this month itself. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.